Hey everyone, this is Athletes and Antiquities. Today I want to talk about a really underrated card in my opinion. This is the 1970 NBA scoring average leaders card, and just this trio of Jerry West, Lou Alcindor, and Elvin Hayes is just a very impressive lineup to have on one card, especially for this time. There are other cards that have a similar setup with 3 players, and they go for a ton of money. Like the most famous one is the 1980 card that has Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Julius Erving all on the same card. That card goes for hundreds of dollars, thousands in PSA 10. But this card goes for a fraction of that. But I think, although they're not rookies, which is, well, 2 of them aren't rookies, which is one of the appeals to the Johnson, Bird, and Julius Erving one, is that all 3 of them are rookies. Only one of them is a rookie on this card, which is a detractor, but just the caliber of players on this, I think, makes this card way cheaper than I feel it should be. So first, so this is in this season, who scored the most points per game. Not like the most points total, just points per game. And so first was Jerry West, second was Lou Alcindor, and third was Elvin Hayes. So first, just going into Jerry West, he was, in case you're not familiar, he was drafted in 1960. So he was in the league for about 10 years when this card came out, which makes it, he's more of a veteran at this time, so it's not the same caliber as if this was like 3 rookies. But so he was one of the greatest players of all time. He was the 16th all-time leading scorer. He is the 16th all-time leading scorer. But when he retired, he had the highest points per game for his entire career. He averaged 29.1 points per game over his entire career, which is insane. So that was first. Now, so when he retired it was first, but now it's third. Still very impressive. And the NBA released a top 100 ranking recently, and they ranked him as the 13th best player of all time. Certainly nothing to scoff at. I'm going to skip over to Elvin Hayes because I want to talk about Lou Alcindor a little bit more. But Elvin Hayes, he was drafted in 1968, so he was a second-year player when this card was printed, so still very new in the league. He made a splash, obviously. Everyone knew his name, but no one knew what he would become. So he retired as the 10th all-time scoring leader and the 4th all-time in rebounds. So he was an easy first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greatest of all time. His name isn't spoken up as much as I think it should be, but like he's not spoken very often alongside like the Birds, the Magics, all that. But I think he deserves to be in that conversation as well. And then in the middle, we have Lou Alcindor, which is the most important part of this card. The reason why I think it's so undervalued, because this is technically one of Lou Alcindor's rookie cards. He was drafted in 1969 to the Bucks, and he's more commonly known as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He changed his name at some point, I forget exactly when, but before he changed his name, he went by Lou Alcindor. So this, one, is historical because it shows his earlier name, and 2, it's basically one of his rookie cards. So he is, no question, top 5 players of all time. I think he's number 2, flirting around number 1. I think there's arguments to be made that he could be better than Jordan, but a lot of people don't agree with that. So he was in UCLA. He was considered the greatest college player of all time because he was so dominant that the NCAA had to ban the dunk. So because he was too good at it, it was too unstoppable, they stopped allowing him to dunk, which made him develop his famous skyhook shot, which is now, it was just still one of the most dominant moves that has ever been brought into the NBA. He could do pretty much anything he wanted whenever he wanted on the court, even amongst other professionals. So yeah, when he was in college, he was almost undefeated. He only lost a handful of games. He was drafted by the Bucks in 69, like I mentioned, and he was traded to the Lakers in 75. And he's more famous for being on the Lakers for a variety of reasons, but also one of them being when Magic was drafted. He played alongside Magic on the Lakers, which was something that was a very famous duo. But so just for some career milestones for him, there's a whole bunch of them. He was a 6-time NBA champion, 6-time MVP, 2-time scoring leader, 2-time Finals MVP, and he was 15-time All-NBA, which is wild. And he has the record for the most points scored all time, still not broken. And he's ranked number 2 by a lot of people as the best of all time. As I said, I think he has an argument for number 1. But Kareem cards are really slept on. Not a lot of people. He's not, even though he's one of the best of all time, for some reason he's not spoken of as such very often. So this is essentially one of his rookie cards. I have other cards here that I can show. This is when he was farther into the league. You see his name was changed to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, not Lou Alcindor. But I love Hall of Famer cards. I think Hall of Famer cards are some of the best investments you can make. They're some of the safest investments you can make, as opposed to investing in some rookie that might tear his ACL or bust in year 2 or something. So this is just a similar Kareem Abdul-Jabbar card. I think he deserves a lot more attention, or his cards will deserve a lot more attention. But the main card I want to show is this card. His other cards are not as special in my opinion, but this one is, just because, one, it's his first year. He's already making a name for himself. Second in the NBA for scoring average leaders as a rookie, and he's competing against guys like Jerry West, who was a legend, and Elvin Hayes, who would become a legend alongside Lou. So I just thought you guys might find it interesting. Here's the back if you want to see. So first Jerry, second Lou, 3 Elvin Hayes. Then you got some others. Billy Cunningham, Lou Hudson, Connie Hawkins, Bob Rule, John Havlicek, Earl Monroe, and Dave Bing. So just shows you everyone else that was in the running that he was competing against. But if you can find these fairly cheap online, I would definitely pick them up. This is in really bad condition. There's a big crease here, but I got it for such a good deal that I couldn't pass it up, and it was definitely worth that, even though I knew it was in bad condition. So yeah, if you've noticed, it is taller than other cards. It's quite a great deal taller, but I don't really mind. So I think these kind of older cards that are differently sized and have players that are not like the traditional should definitely be picked up. I got this for about $5, which I thought was ridiculous. I thought it would be worth 10 times that. So if you see one, definitely recommend picking it up. I think it's a great card. It has a lot of history in these 3 pictures, a lot of history on the back as well. So yeah, what do you think?